want to show you how the devil has influenced our culture to believe that we can befriend the monsters in our life. No, you cannot. Monsters are a picture of sin. We must destroy them. There's the old book, Frankenstein, and there's this new movie, Sea Beast, on Netflix, and then there's an oldie but goodie, Monsters Inc. Let's talk about how the culture is pushing this narrative in all three of them. Way back when Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, it was this idea of this doctor who is so ambitious to make this monster, makes it, and then he's so ambitious about killing the monster. And there's other people in the village that want to kill the monster too. But there's also this little string of narrative in it that's like, well, maybe the monster's not so bad. The monster has a mind of its own. It's got a personality. And maybe it can contribute to the world. And so there's this two sides, like, should we defeat all monsters or should we let them live among us? And isn't that the lie of the devil way back in the garden when he looks at Eve and says, did God really say not to do that? Are we really talking about disobedience here? Or are we talking about something that we need to let live? The idea that you can make your own decisions and you can find out knowledge not from God. You can find knowledge your own way. You can seek knowledge on your own. Shouldn't we let that live? That's a monster. It was a monster that destroyed the entire universe. This monster creeped its head into the life of my family because it was movie night and we're like, okay, we're going to watch this movie called Sea Beast. It had been out for a while. I checked it out a little bit and I was like, okay, it looks definitely kind of violent, but as long as we sit there and watch it with the kids, it looks simple enough as a movie that we can just explain to them what's really going on and why we shouldn't be violent and why this is just a movie. Some movies you can do that. Some movies you can't, like Turning Red. We had to turn it off because it was like, no, this is too complex of perversion and lies. My kids are not going to be able to probably come back from this. And so click, turn that off. But Sea Beast was a little more, we could talk about it. So we watch it and something's not sitting right with me as I'm watching the plot. I'm going to ruin it for you, by the way. It's this idea that these old books were teaching, like, we need to kill all monsters. The heroes are the ones that defeat the monsters, the pirate ship guys. And so this little girl makes her way onto the pirate ship, loving those stories, loving those old books. But then she encounters a beast for herself. And she falls in love with this little beast or big beast. And they become friends with the beast. And then they try to convince others that beasts aren't so bad. These old books are outdated and evil and they're propaganda. We shouldn't listen to them anymore. We should let the monsters live. No more killing monsters. No more killing beasts. Let them live. Let them be friends with us. And the movie ends and everyone's happy. Except me. I was like, something's not right. By these old books, first of all, they all look like Bibles. Are they saying that these old books are saying that some of the sins in our life are monstrous and we should destroy them? Well, let's get rid of those books. If those books are saying that the sins in our culture today are monstrous, then maybe we should throw out the books and let the monsters live. Isn't that what our culture is pushing? I mean, things like homosexuality have been rejected and defeated and destroyed all the way back in Genesis. And now we're in a world that says, let's just do whatever we want. And let's let you think that's a monster? Well, let's let that monster live. It's not so beastly, is it? Monsters, Inc. There's this thing called the Pixar theory that strings all the Pixar movies into one universe. Starts way back with like The Good Dinosaur, or some people say Brave, and it goes all the way to Monsters, Inc. And at some point in the Pixar universe, humans have destroyed the earth so bad, polluted it so bad that they have to leave. And that's when WALL-E is taking place. WALL-E is this robot that's sent to Earth and there to clean up, and the humans go on the Axiom, and while they're there getting fat and unhealthy, the world just too polluted to live on, and the cars take over. The cars create a life of their own, and they have the personality of their old owners, and they're living, and they're the only living, talking things on Earth are these cars, magically. Well, one day, WALL-E finds the plant, and they all come back, and they're like, we can live on Earth again, and the Pixar theory is the idea that they get polluted themselves. Humans turn into monsters because the pollution on Earth is so bad. They all start growing horns and hair and stuff, and so in Monsters, Inc., the narrative is monsters can be good. They don't have to be scary and evil. They can evolve into something funny and fun-loving and awesome, and they can befriend innocence. Boo is a picture of innocence. Monsters don't have to be bad. They can embrace innocence, and we can all be monsters and live together in harmony. No. Sin makes you a monster. Sin has made everyone on earth monsters. They got that part right. But we cannot befriend our monsters. We cannot treat monstrosity like it's not that big of a deal. The culture is gaslighting us by doing that. The devil is gaslighting us by doing that. The devil is a gaslighter. Gaslighters, they love to say, it's not a big deal, or come on, it's not that serious. What they do by doing that is they turn the situation and they say, you're the problem. And the culture wants to turn the situation on those of us who believe the Bible is true, believe that sin is a monster. And the culture wants to say, you guys are the problem. Come on, it's not a big deal. It's not that serious. Come on, Christians, it's not that serious. And it makes us feel like, well, maybe it's not that serious. Maybe this movie is Sea Beast, it's cute, it's fun. Monsters, Inc., the idea is cute and fun. No. If we exist in a world where everyone's a monster, we'll exist in a terrible, disgusting world. There's been glimpses of our world getting to that point. World War II, the early stages, the early times in America. Egypt, right? Where monstrosity ruled. Look at how bad the world was at times like that. And then there was these lonely Christians that brought revival. For America, it was guys like George Whitefield, who through this one man's preaching changed the culture of America, brought us back to these faith-based roots that we believed. Guys like Billy Graham, who stood alone and preached and said, hey, those books that we're trying to throw out, those Bibles, that's ancient truth. That's here to set us free. It all comes down to this. Jesus was destroyed by a monstrosity. He was destroyed by sin so that we could be destroying sin in our life. John Piper says, kill sin or sin will be killing you. Jesus was destroyed by that monstrosity so that we could destroy the monsters in our life. Never stop fighting monsters. Never stop defeating monsters, because those monsters are sin and they will destroy you. No matter how much our culture wants to make them cute and cuddly and okay, they're not. Christians are in the business of defeating monsters. I love you. God bless you. And I'll see you in the next one.
Amen.